So thank you for joining me. This is Tarot in White Oracle, where we get into the cloud. This is our learning center, and this is going to be in our playlist for, I don't know yet how many we'll have, likely only one or two, but I did want to separate the court cards from the rest. So we'll go ahead and dive into it. Remember, you were going to separate your deck into three parts: minor arcana, major arcana, and court cards. And we went over the minor arcana in playlist 1, the major arcana in playlist 2 and 3, and I know playlist 3 was really in depth, and if you wanted to skip that one, that's fine, depends on your level. And then of course we have playlist 4, which is our court cards. So when we go into our court cards, we want to divide the court cards into pages, knights, queens, and kings. And of course, way back in time, in the 1400s, when they were first designed, as we went over in the other videos, they did have a mix of them. So there were feminine and masculine knights and female and male pages. And sometimes the female knights were even stronger than the male. Sometimes pages were stronger than the knights. Sometimes queens were less powerful. It really depended on the suit. And, I don't think that they had a sure structure, or at least we're not aware of one. But in our modern day, we definitely have a structure, and possibly since 1639 there is a structure, but definitely today. So the pages are the least, and then the knights, and then the queens, and then the kings. And of course I divide them by our wands, our cups, our swords, our earth, right? Or pentacles. Our fire, our water, our air, our earth. Because that's in the order of thinness to thickness of energy. And so when you're looking at the pages, they simply represent all of the signs of the element. So the element is fire, so it's going to represent all the fire signs. This will represent all your water signs, all your air signs, and all your earth signs. Your pages are your innocence, your light energy. You're just making the first steps into something. So this energy, the wands, is very light energy, so it's very non-committal. It's in and out very fast in a relationship. It's for a good time. It's fun. Someone might be texting you because they want to get together for a booty call, per se. It's also very powerful energy. It's a strong energy in terms of empowerment for yourself, because it is a wand. Our page, of course, has a water to it, and so it's a lot more romantic. It can be, those I love yous, those apologies, the confessions of love, but it can also be over the top. It can be fantasy. See, his legs are flying up in the air with pigs and bulls. It's like you can be a little delusional or in illusionary land with this energy as well. But it also is sometimes a new relationship, a confession of love, the first steps in a romance and getting together, first date. Someone might be texting something very romantic. Of course, your swords energy has to do with your good ideas, a business idea you might have, and texting to meet up with someone. It's more simple. And your pentacle is, of course, wanting to meet in person, the approach, the first steps in commitment, the now energy. They have some experience. They're mature. If it's in the inverse, of course, it's an immature energy. But this is all very early, and so you might be starting that business, but you're just beginning it, with this card. And then when we move into our knights, the energy is a little stronger. So this energy is more than just a booty call. Maybe it's an in and out relationship, a player, the person's around for a longer period of time, but it's not committal. It's a non-committal card. Of course, for business or motivation, it's a positive energy for yourself. And then we move into our knights, and our knights do have a sense of romance, leaving an offer, bringing an offer, usually of love, and so it will be around probably commitments, but these are like the first steps toward commitment, whereas this is just kind of like the idea, the initial phase, the initial moment, and this is like the next couple steps. And of course, we have our Knight of Swords, and our Knight of Swords sometimes is avoiding running away, but sometimes he's rushing into a relationship. And then we have our Knight of Pentacles, and our Knight of Pentacles is wanting to build that commitment. They're wanting to put those seeds down. They're wanting to approach you, and maybe they have approached you. They're giving you a good offer of something, maybe a ring, you know. Of course, even though the Knight of Swords might be approaching and rushing into a relationship, they still really like their space. They might be very independent minded, a lone wolf type. And then we move into our queens. And of course, our queens and kings are more committal energy. So the queen is committal energy, but she is wanting her freedom. And it's the same thing with the king. Both the fire signs want their freedom. And then we move into our water energy, and it's, you know, all that emotional support, but also intuitive and psychic ability as well. And then we move into our swords, and our queen and king are both committal, but they love their space. They're independently minded. And then of course we have our coins, and our queen and our king are both very grounded, have their foundation, security, and they're all about that commitment. And the coins move very slowly, but the wands move very fast, because when you think of it, the wands are light energy, and that's also why they don't really commit so quickly, whereas the coins are very heavy energy, and so they move slowly and they commit more strongly, and when they're with you, they're committing faster than if you have a wand energy. But when we look then at the stars, the astrology, and the planets, this is going to be mutable energy. So most people see the horses as mutable because they move around, they're coming in and out. And so this is going to be a Sagittarius energy, and then this is going to be your Pisces, and this is going to be your Virgo for the earth, and then your air is going to be your Gemini. So when you know the astrological sign, then you can place the planet, because of course Sagittarius is the planet Jupiter, Pisces is the moon, and then Virgo is Mercury. Okay, and then Gemini is Mercury. So then you know the astrological and planetary influences. So that's how that kind of breaks down. And then when you look to the queens and kings, there is a slight debate about who's cardinal and who's fixed. And some people say the queens are cardinal and the kings are fixed, and some people say, no, the queens are fixed and the kings are cardinal. I say just go with what feels best for you. To me, it's very obvious that the knights are mutable, but I can see where you might want to switch this up. I mean, a lot of times we do see the Queen of Swords as our Aquarian card, which means it's fixed energy, but I don't necessarily see the King of Swords as Libra energy. So, you know, go with it as it feels right to you. To me, the King of Wands feels more Leo, and the Queen of Wands feels more, you know, Aries, and the Queen feels more Scorpio, the Queen of Cups, but the King of Cups feels more Cancer to me. And the Queen of Swords feels Aquarian, and the King of Swords, I guess, is more Libra, although I don't really feel like it's completely Libra as well. And the Queen of Pentacles, I feel like is more Capricorn, and the King of Coins, I feel is more Taurus. So, you know, there's a couple of kings that feel more fixed and a couple of kings that feel more cardinal, and the same with the queens. But go with it as it feels for you. There is no set states, but depending on how it's feeling for you, that's going to determine the planet, of course, because, you know, if it's Aries, it's going to be Mars, or sorry, depending on the sign, it's going to let you know about the planet. So if the sign is Aries, it's going to be the planet Mars. And if this is Scorpio energy, this is going to be related to Pluto. And if we have Aquarius, of course, that's going to be Uranus. And if we have our Capricorn energy, this is going to be Saturn. So that will be your planetary influences. And then we've got Leo, which is the sun, and then we have Cancer, which is the moon. like Pisces. And then we have Taurus energy. And I can't remember Taurus offhand. Taurus energy. Okay, Taurus is Venus. If that makes sense, because Venus is your planet of caring and nurturing and all that good stuff. And that, yeah, that's Taurus. So, and then we've got our Libra energy. And of course, our Libra energy is also Venus. So your planets are going to correlate to the sign, and your sign is going to correlate depending on whether you see it as mutable, cardinal, or fixed energy. So that's kind of how that's broken down. And it goes from, you know, young, youthful. You know, you can think of this state as like a young, maybe an older teenager. And then this state is like a young adult. And then this is like more mature adulthood energy, or at least what's giving out. It doesn't mean that's the age of the person, just like it doesn't mean this person is a you know, woman. Take gender as it resonates, take age as it resonates, but that's the energy that's being given out by the person. So let's go ahead and dive into what the cards look like in the 1639. So this would have been the, what do you guys think that is? So that would have been the page of coins. So that was our page of coins in 1639. If you were using the tarot deck, this was our page of swords. This was our page of cups. And this was our page of wands. So pretty interesting. Hopefully you can see those pretty good on your side. So this was our deck from 400 years ago, and this is what you would have been using had you been around at that time. So this is the Knight of Wands and our Knight of Swords, our Knight of Cups. Oh, sorry, this isn't the Knight of Wands. This is the Knight of Coins, because it's got the coin right there. And then the Knight of Wands. So it does look to me like the Knight of Wands might be a female card. I'm not sure if this is part of her gown, or maybe it's just part of the horse's outfit. And then we have our queens, which is the Queen of Coins and our Queen of Swords, our Queen of Cups, and our Queen of Wands. And then of course we have our King of Coins, King of Swords, King of Cups, and King of Wands. So hopefully you can see these. I'll push these up a little more. And then this is what the court cards looked like 400 years ago. So they have, you know, changed a lot in terms of the colors, of course, I don't think that they even had astrological or planetary influence in the 1639s. I think that was something that came later. And I'm glad we did do it, because it gives us more layers of information to use and intuit and, you know, to have as a spiritual language, which is great. But yeah, so if you would like to learn more about the cards that were used 400 years ago, I'll have a link at the bottom of this in the comments so that you can kind of look a little bit more into them. But that's pretty much what you would have had. So if you have any comments or questions, you can go ahead and leave it on the comments as well. This might be our only video for the court cards. The court cards are probably the simplest of the 3 sets, so I figured we'd end with something very easy since the last 2 playlists have been a doozy. So thank you so much for joining, and I will see you on Sundays with You Versus Them, and on Mondays we do comedy sketches. We do have a weekly collective of what's coming. And we also do weekly love reads as well that are posted. And also a soul journey that's also posted on Monday. So, yeah, I will see you then. Thank you for joining.